Hey there, Icarus and Sig P365 enthusiasts. Dan here from Icarus Precision, and if you clicked on this video, there's a really good chance that you're either looking for installation instructions for one of our products, or you're looking for how to build your own Sig P365 from spare parts. Either way, we're going to get you straightened out in these next few videos. This video is going to cover grip module installation, including the magazine release. The next video will cover slide assembly, and the third video in this series will cover installation of a Parker Mountain machine barrel and compensator. Before we get rolling, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, which will help you keep up to date with product releases, tips, and all content Icarus related. Now bumper time, then we jump right in. Okay, so I've got my wife Holly here with me, and she is going to be building her own concealed carry gun throughout this series. And so one of the things I wanted to do was bring her in as somebody that is not a certified armor and does not have as much experience as myself, so that I can show everyone watching this video just how easy and simple this process can be for the most part. So right here, we've got a stock Sig P365 with a Cerakote slide. I've got my PMM XL Plus that I'm going to be converting into this macro XL Plus. And she's got her Evo XL that she's going to be using for her concealed carry permit. So the first thing we're going to do, as usual, is just be safe. So the first thing we're going to do, even though these are on stands, is we're going to unload and show clear. So looking, I am unload and show clear. See yours, we're good. All right, we're just going to take our slides off. Boom. All right, slide is off. All right, so the purpose of this video is the grip module, right? So we're starting with a disassembly. So if you have a fire control unit just sitting aside, just wait a few minutes. We're going to disassemble this one. Then we're going to get into the assembly of the new ones. So the first thing we want to do is take out our fire control unit from the Sig P365 module. This is very simple. You can use something that may help is a punch and or a block if you want. This isn't needed, depending especially on how loose this is. But what we're going to do is take our punch and we're going to push our pin out. Now, I'll show this on a close-up, but there's a little detent spring on the back here. So it's best practice to push the pin out from right to left. And when you install it, put it in left to right. So I'm just going to pop this out real quick. And you can use anything. You can use hex keys or whatever. But if you want, standard punch and a block can also be helpful. Pull that out. I'm gonna put it in my little jar here to make sure I don't lose it. And all you need to do from here is just lift from the rear and slide it out. And we're done. That is the Sig P365 fire control unit. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side. So if you wanna go ahead and do that, so here's a punch. Now you can see here, Holly would prefer to use the block. So she's gonna line up the punch on the back of the fire control unit and just push it through. All right, and then save that pin and put it back. Okay, the next part of disassembling our grip module is the magazine release. So by the book, if you go to the Sig Armors course, they recommend using a T-pin, which is used in like clothing and tailoring. You can find these in Walmart for pretty cheap, a little package of these. And what you're supposed to do is depress the magazine release and it will expose this little hole behind the mag release. And you insert this T-pin and you're supposed to be able to wedge out the detent in there. Problem is, I find that this does not work pretty much any time. On the 320s, it works like a charm. 365s, not so much. So what I found works best with the 365s is to use some type of crafting blade, one of these little type of X-Acto blades. And basically what we're going to use this for is as a shim. So carefully, we're going to depress that magazine release and we're going to start working this in between the detent and the actual magazine release. And basically there's a little arm on the detent that we're trying to shim this in between to allow this to come out. And just like that, we have our three parts: our magazine release, our spring, and our detent. And that is a disassembled grip module. So I'm gonna give that a shot. Just work it in there. Nice and slow. If it doesn't work, you can let that out and back in again. Oh, there it goes. And just make sure we don't lose our pieces. All right, so there's the detent, spring, and magazine release. And there we go. We've got our disassembled mag release. All right. To insert the fire control unit into the grip module, with the Icarus grip modules, these are aluminum, and so they're very tough and they're built to very nice tight tolerances. So some people have noted in the past that it seems like these don't want to fit, but they will fit. They just might require a little bit of elbow grease. What you'll notice is that on the fire control unit, there are little grooves here on the front section of the fire control unit, which correlate to some extrusions inside of the actual grip module. So something that may help, it's not required, but may help, is a little bit of lubrication. So if we just take this and just put a little bit of lube right here on the front area, maybe even down in the grip module on those little lugs, I'll just make it slide in just a little bit easier. If you want to do that while I'm doing that. What we want to do is take this trigger, we're going to slide it in, we're going to kind of angle down to try to start getting those lugs connected. Now this may be where it gets really tight. So you can start by trying to kind of pinch the top and push down and in. It may take, I've just felt it click there. I've had this in here once before, so it's a little loosened up, but you may need to take it and push it against the table. You may need to wiggle it a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of elbow grease to get in there. So practice that. See, pinch down, push forward. Oh, yep, yours went right in. And the way you know that it's in correctly is if the fire control unit slide and rail lines up perpendicular, or excuse me, parallel with the grip module, and this rear takedown hole is lined up. So then all we simply need to do is take our pin, and remember what I said at the beginning, we want to take it and we want to insert it from the left side to the right side. This might be a little tight. Oh, no, going in. You want to go in until you hear a little click. Right there, heard a nice little click. And our fire control unit is now inside of our grip module. So it's lined up. If it's not working, you can use your punch and your block and just lightly tap, nice and light. Keep going. Yep, there you go. All right, and then just make sure it's nice and lined up, not sticking out too far on either end. See here, nice little click. If you need a little punch, that's fine, but there it goes. I heard the nice little click right there. Okay. All right, and then to finalize our grip assembly, we just need to put in our magazine release. So there's three parts of the magazine release, right? We got our actual button that we can press. We have our spring, and we have our detent. Now, if you are a righty, obviously we want the textured portion or the button portion to be on the left side of the firearm. And the spring sits inside of this little groove on the mag release. Now, a little tip, a little trick is to use some grease to help that spring stick in place, right? So we're just going to take a little dab of grease and put it down here in this little groove. And now I can set the spring in here and it'll help kind of hold that spring in place. If you don't have grease, no worries. All you have to do is let gravity work and keep that spring in the vertical position. Inside of the hole for the magazine release, you'll see a little ledge in there. That's what the spring presses against. So we're going to take our magazine release, orient both vertically. Again, I'm a right-handed shooter, so it's going to be on the left side of my firearm. And I'm just going to press this through and try to line things up. If you don't get it at first, just slowly work it through. And we're just trying to line it up on the other side. There it goes. I've now pressed it through, so you're getting your grease on there. With the detent, you'll notice that there looks like a little mouth, and I'll show a close-up of this. You want the opening facing outside of the firearm, and you want the detent portion facing in towards the bigger part of the mag release. So I'm gonna put that in here. Don't worry, babe, it's only on TV. And once it's in, clicked, you have your magazine release in the firearm. And that completes the assembly of our grip module. We're now gonna take a brief cut. Holly's gonna go find her pieces and we'll bring it back for her to finish hers as well.
A few moments later.
All right, and Holly found her pieces, so now she's gonna give this a go. So she's orienting both vertically, so the spring is up, the firearm is up, and she is trying to work that magazine release through that triangular hole on the other side. Again, this is just a little bit of just finessing and finding it to be lined up. And this is why we did this, folks, so that you can see that not everyone is a certified armorer. This is one of her first times ever doing this, so she is slowly figuring this out on the fly. So if you're having a little trouble at home, you're not alone. That's one of the things with YouTube is that we can always make ourselves look great. We can always cut things to make everything look better. And in this case, we're trying to show it from a realistic perspective. Yep, right there. There it goes. All right. Now take your detent. Remember, the mouth goes up and in towards the bigger piece.
Mouth goes up.
Yep, just like that.
And this goes
So press it in and then slowly push it in. There, boom. Good little test. Awesome. All right. Now we both have our assembled grip modules. Now in the future videos, we'll cover this as well. If this is your only step, it would now be a good time to reassemble your firearm and do a function test, but we're gonna save that for the follow-on videos since this is a complete build series. But stick around and we'll get to those other videos soon. And there we have it, how to disassemble and assemble your Sig P365 grip module. Again, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you can get notified when future videos are released and to find the follow-up installation videos. Also, be sure to check out our other social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're looking for insider information on when restocks and product drops are happening, go ahead and sign up to subscribe through the link at the top of our website or at the link in the description below. Now, what will you build to make sure the deck is stacked?